I've waited over 10 years for this computer. Since I started the mini project, I've been chasing my idea of a dream PC. It needed to be fully modular in the sense I could upgrade each part over time. It needed to be practically small, something that didn't take up space on a desk or in a bag. It needed to be beautiful, because a beautiful tool inspires the user to wield it with intent. It needed to be personal, something I was connected to in the design and the building process. Finally, it needed to be powerful enough to meet my needs. Not excessive, not lacking, but perfectly efficient. I couldn't catch this idea until most of the ingredients of a perfect storm filled my sails. The rare event of a case, motherboard, GPU, and power supply all being equally new, powerful, and available at the same time. I wasn't the only one to recognize an event this fortuitous for small form factor. It wasn't long before the builds were popping up on the NFC Discord, and man, I love this community. Still, these complex builds didn't fully scratch my itch. Not that the results weren't repeatable, but I wanted something simpler that any newbie could accomplish in the S4T. Seriously though, Eric is the best. He came down to visit, and although we had a super important bestie plan to do, when I mentioned the project, he couldn't help himself and got straight to work. Man was born to mod, ladies and gentlemen. Making mock-ups for fitment is the best way to start any build. First comes paper to get the fitment right, then acrylic to prove that it works. Carbon fiber is too expensive to be making mistakes with. My design is based around an STX motherboard, for which the Skyreach 4 Tiny has mounts. I soldered 2 lead wires to the DC jack PCB. The STX form factor is designed to use an external 19-volt power brick. When using an internal power supply, you could alternatively use a cable that plugs into the jack and then goes into the case. This way, you don't have to do any soldering. Surprise, surprise! The ASRock X300 actually does 12-volt DC-DC conversion. The 5700G ran off a 12-volt brick no problem. I tested it by trying to teach Eric how to play an RTS for a couple hours. If you eat it. He could stand a few more days of training. At any rate, this meant we didn't need an exotic dual voltage solution for the CPU and GPU. And because HDPlex had kept me in the loop for their upcoming ATX 12-volt power supply, all I had to do was wait.
One eternity later.
This might be the world's smallest ATX power supply. Yes, ATX. It does AC and DC conversion, and does everything a normal huge ATX power supply does. It's so small because it uses state-of-the-art gallium nitride semiconductor technology. It can supply 250 watts of 12-volt power continuously. Best of all, it can be daisy-chained indefinitely for projects that require more power. Look at this beautiful heatsink Eric crafted for the build. While not necessary for my 130-watt system, the extra cooling may help with future projects. A simpler yet effective solution is this 3D printed cover. You can download this and other parts I've made by following the links in the description. We used this project to develop many accessories for the S4T, and every one of these could be a video in itself. I am super proud of them and incredibly grateful to Eric for machining and finishing all these for my dream build. The second hardware mod is this copper shim, which replaces the thermal pads on the GDDR6. This is the 12GB model with ECC memory, and we want it running nice and cool and quiet. The GPU will interface with the motherboard using the M.2 to PCIe 16X adapter, which requires external power. A SATA power dongle is supplied, but we only need a 12-volt and a ground. Heat shrink over the Molex pins provides a secure fit and excellent contact. One more piece to hold the pigtail. And now we have a nice looking cable. The NFC machine stainless on-off switch is soldered directly to the X300's front panel connector. shout out to SFF Nor for providing these lovely micro Wi-Fi Bluetooth antenna. Not pictured is the right angle USB-C adapter that makes this work. It was stuck in the mail during the filming of this video. The trickiest and most stressful part of the build is getting the bend right in the riser. A 3D printed brace mount for the A2000. I had to notch the USB cable here. Plenty of places to plug in your riser power. Just use the pinout sheet in the video description. I left the ELR connector in, but decided later to straight wire it for neatness. The GAN unit needs a jump wire in order to turn on, but we don't have one for this motherboard. Easy fix though. Again, check the video description for the pinout. This is a shroud I designed for the fan, which improves temps and obscures some cabling. The riser looks a lot better painted. Carbon fiber side braces with stainless steel tabs. Unstrippable. Eric did an awesome job with the ceramic bronze coating for the cover panels. Man, I love this color. This front bezel is machined out of granadillo, and the Skyreach logo is inlaid in titanium. Eric used granadillo for the stand to match, and was patient with me as I revised the inset lines over and over to get the perfect look. To pass my performance bar, the system needed to be quiet and provide the frame rate and visual fidelity necessary for me to enjoy my favorite games. These terms are completely subjective to the point where I loathe giving out anything more than a yay or a nay. Nevertheless, I have provided my results in a spreadsheet in the description. The Noctua NH-L9i, I used the AM4 conversion brackets, ensured the CPU was cooled quietly. What do you think? Modular, small, beautiful, personal, powerful. By my standards, all these requirements are met. There's no such thing as a perfect PC, and this certainly isn't it, but it is as close as I have come. I hope by sharing this build, both the video and the project files, that other storm chasers will come closer to catching the perfect small form factor build. Maybe the last ingredient of the perfect storm is you.
Stats: 5'8", 175 pounds. Profession: